Apologies if you can hear whirring and noises in the background. I've got 3D printers are running, even though they're in the next room. The filament printer is pretty noisy. Alright, I've painted up, so I've cleaned up the right intake and put it in. So you got the fan blade goes in the back of the intake. It actually sits inside the intake. Some of them they sit on the back. So I had the Tammy white putty is what I used for these doing the seams. Like any intake, they're difficult. 1/72 is even more difficult, although this one's not too bad because it's a decent size on the aircraft. You can approach it, you can use some fine different grade sandpaper and just use a toothpick or an old airbrush needle just to keep it a curved surface, because it's a curved piece in there, and just work it around. Or I got sanding sponge, different grades, so it's like the 3M, and just cut off strips that is small enough to fit in the part you want to work, and just use some tweezers, and I just pinch it and just work it. There's no real quick way to do it, and just keep working it until you smooth it out. So I'll prime that now. That one turned out good, so I'll do the left side. Then I'm going to put the outer cover on. These pieces here need to be sprayed white as well. Well, I did them now, I don't know, maybe you can do them later. I didn't look ahead, I just did them while the instructions call for it. I still need to glue that down, so what I'm going to do is some Tamiya tape on that one, just to hold it down. I think that one, because it's going to want to keep to pop up. My UV just finished. I'll just run extra thin in there. I don't care if I get that spilt. I'll spray that again anyway. When I clean up that fuselage, I'll have to spray that area, so that'll be alright. So I've taken left wing, the inner section off the sprue. The number call outs are all wrong, so don't go by them. Come on, Trumpeter. Now there is an ejection pin mark there that needs cleaning up. There's a bit of flash on it, so that part sits in there, so that needs cleaning up, otherwise it'll foul when the engine goes in. And also there was a pin just there, little pin, I think it was meant to fit in there, but it didn't. It mustn't be aligned because it wouldn't go down to a flush fit, so I just cut that pin off. It'll be alright, I don't think you need it. Control the flaps, so you can have them. I've just been messing around with the configuration here. I want to, like I said, I'm probably going to do the one wing in flight position and the other wing folded up again to show capability of the aircraft, what it looks like in both positions. I know it wouldn't be stored like that. So you can have, this is the neutral position, I guess. so we can have them that's right. So the flap extended again. It wouldn't. I'll go too far then. Yep, it wouldn't be parked like that. And the spoiler. Come on, man. There you go. You have the spoiler up, but if you want it shut, you just cut those tabs off and you can put it down closed. But I don't know how good oh no, it looks alright. I might have the spoiler up, but if I do, there's two ejection pin marks there that need cleaning up. And if you have the flap extended and deployed, you're probably going to see a lot of that sandwich section, and also there's another ejection pin mark on that part there that would need cleaning up. I'm probably just going to go with the neutral position, which will help hide that sandwiched wing section. And I might have the slat up, but I'll just clean them up, but the other side be folded up, the slat will be closed. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. I've had a bit of a look on images online. I've seen one parked, a photo of one parked just sitting on a tarmac, not on an aircraft carrier, with the wing out, and they had the slats up. But like I said, how I display it won't be realistic, but that's not really my point. So yeah, I'll just wanted to show what to look for there. I can glue that together now, and then I'll put the pylon, which is part of will be the inner of the wing fold section as well. I've sprayed my other intake, and then I noticed I had a couple little tiny holes still where the seam was, so this time I've used CA glue so I can do it straight away. I'm not waiting another day, so I'll have to sand that again and paint it again. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. The right intake, I don't know if I said I had it glued in, I just had it pushed in. It's a tight fit, you don't need to glue it, but I've taken it back out because again this side just doesn't want to, the outer skin, that part fits nice, but this part just won't. It's better than what it was, but I can't. I took some plastic out of here, off this section, so I think it was when you push it in, it looked like it was fouling on the intake, so I might take a bit more. If I glue it now and pinch it, it'll come in, but just I don't know, should fit better than that. Yeah, so I took that pin out again as well, and I cut off the raised section of there, thinking maybe that was part of it, but I don't think it was, but I'll get there eventually. It's just a bit frustrating, that fit, but I shall work it out. We've got the pylon and the folded wing section mechanics in, so it's one piece. Fit was alright. I just that edge of the wing, I didn't glue it when I put the wing together. I left it, put this in, then glued it, just to be sure that it would fit. I did glue it, however, though. I glued the top, let it dry, and then because the bottom was pulled out a tiny bit, so I used the clamp just to pull it in, pinch it in, and then I glued it. Now, engine. So this is the left engine. I've had a dry fit. Let's do it the right way around. Alright, so it pushes in. Don't worry about the top because the wing covers it, but the bottom is not so great. Now, I can push that in. We've still got a gap here, which is not brilliant. You can push it in there, but you push that in and it's going to affect the top. And another thing I noticed that there's a, if that line shows up, there's a line across there and it's stepped. And it's probably only not even half, less than a quarter of a mil, probably even less than that, but I'm not sure if that's to do with that mold misalignment. But I think that's part of the, maybe the fit against the fuselage. So anyway, I gotta see if I can get it any better than that. If not, Mr. Putty will be coming out again. And then you got the slots for the wing, which is nice fit. So that'll push in. So that's a nice fit on the top. But again, there's a gap here. Now, if I glue the top, let it dry, and I can come back and pull down a bit, that'll improve that gap. There'll still be a small gap which Putty will take care of again, but again, you're better off having a good joint at the top. That's where you're going to see, you're not going to see into there. And so the wing will fit on there. You can see that covers the engine, which shouldn't be too bad a fit. And then that's probably, I'm going to have a look, I haven't looked yet, on an image of the aircraft, whether that's an actual, I don't think that's a seam on the aircraft. It's be best to take that out, but I'll check to make sure before I go doing that. So yeah, it's a bit, but it's also the aircraft too, isn't it, the way it's goes together. Anyway, I'll see if I can improve on that. I started gluing the right wing together just out of interest. You can see the difference in the fit. That one's got no gap and that one does, so I don't know why. It's one of the mysteries of modelling. I've cut the slat off the sprue, so again this is the wing that's in flight position. I might extend it a bit for interest because the interior is red, but if you don't want it out, it'll push in, and that's looks good fit to me. So if you want it, which will be the other wing, so hopefully that fits alright. So obviously these control surfaces will be painted off the wing, and I have to clean up the seam line. So if I don't know, I couldn't get these perfect, I just did the best I could. I would recommend gluing them like this, cleaning up these seam lines, because especially if it's troublesome like mine, clean it up, rescribe where you need to, and then put them into the model. That just makes life so much easier. I've started the outer wing, left wing. This is I found it a bit confusing. for the fact of the angles of pictures are showing. So you got left wing closed, which I'm assuming means that's closed, and then open is in the folder position. I hope so anyway, because that's how I'm building it. Now I've got this piece in. Took me ages to work it out because, like I said, it's just not clear to myself anyway. So what I'm going to do is show you the other side, because I didn't want to explain it until I'd done it and worked it out. So we got this piece of wing. Now can we see these pieces? They overlap. If that stands out there, they overlap. So when this piece goes in, now it's got a flat side which sits on this piece. You can see this piece has to go in behind those pins that are on the other piece, otherwise it won't fit. Now, because on the left wing I've got it in the flight position, I had to cut, it says cut these off, and I'm just assuming it meant the tips, so that's what I did. Which is, so that was these, the end. I cut end off. So on the open wing, they will stay there because that's part of the wing fold. And also I had two, so you got on the back of this piece, you got those raised sections, the tabs, which I thought would help line it with the wing, but I found I couldn't put the wing on unless I removed them. It was fouling it, so I had to cut them off. So just be mindful of what's going on there. With the engine, so that might still be, what I did is I put it in, I used that clamp to pull it in so that this was good, the fit at the back, and then when that's dry I've come back and you saw how it clamped to pull it forward. It's not a brilliant fit, and whichever way you want to work it, it's not going to sit somewhere really how you want it. So that's going to be a putty job. Let's freshen that up. I think I pulled apart a bit. I've cleaned up the seams on the intakes where the parts went on, so you can see. You can see that's got to be gone, and that one I've just used super glue, CA glue today, because I just want to try and get it together. Whether I do or not, another story. So I've got to put in that panel line back in and some rivets, which is no big deal. Yeah, so I'll do that. I can put that in then, and I'll do the other engine, and then I start cleaning up the seam on the fuselage. I'll do that, clean that up before I start putting wings on, just for ease of handling. I'm making progress. I got both the inner wings together, cleaned up, so they're ready to glue on. But before I do that, I've cleaned up the seam lines on the fuselage. I need to rescribe, and a few under here. You can see I've left this seam line here will be covered by the pylon. Just save a bit of time. It's a bit, because it's curved in there, I got a piece of skinny piece of that sanding sponge with tweezers and just kept working it. Started, so this is the wing that will be folded up. So I've put the slat closed, I put the actuators on, so you glue on 1, 2, 3, 4 on that sensor or whatever it is, but it doesn't really, it's a bit awkward because of the speed brake. It doesn't really meet both sides. You gotta pinch them in, but be careful. I put a peg, like I glued the front on the main wing, and then I went to the rear and glued it. When I put a peg on it, it started cracking, this one, so I took it off. It's basically best just to go as far as you can, and then just a bit of putty to tidy up the gap, otherwise you're going to start breaking pieces. The other wing, which is in the flight position, I'm going to have the slat deployed a bit, just like I said, to add interest and show what the positions of the aircraft. Alright, the nose, I took it off and thought, oh, I'll have a bit of a look how it fits. It's got a mismold here again that needs a big seam line. Well, not really a mismold, but the seam, mold seam needs a big cleanup because it's stepped. The actual fit is top okay, but it's just not happening. So you can see where it's supposed to slot in. So basically I'll probably remove plastic on the inside in here because I believe this piece is fouling it. So I'll just go a bit at a time, don't get too carried away, and then see how it goes. And also add some weight in there. When I glued the cockpit in, I think I put 4 grams behind the seats on behind the landing gear bay. So I just need to add, I think it was 10 grams all up, so just add some more in the nose, which is no issue, there's heaps of room. So I've started sanding the inside of the nose. You can see it's almost there. Just using one of these diamond burrs, just a really small one, so I can just get in there and just, this is battery operated one, it's not as fast as a normal Dremel. Dremels melt your plastic because they go too fast. Just gradually taking a bit out of it until, obviously until it fits, but like I said, a bit at a time. Sort of working away on things waiting to dry, so I've rescribed. It's good to go. Oh, I didn't point out earlier, when I put the right engine on, they got a pretty decent fit compared to the other side, so I don't know. That's going to have to be putty, that one. What I'm going to do is, when I'm finishing up today, I'm going to use Perfect plastic putty. That's the water soluble one, cleans up with water, and I'm going to put it on. I'm going to tape it so I don't mess everywhere, and then put big line of it on there so it's higher up than the part, so when it shrinks back it should be right when I clean it up next time. And I've also remembered, I've super glued the bottom of these panels, just the vertical panel lines. I'll sand them out and then rescribe in to square it up. I almost forgot about that one. Still doing the wings too. I don't think I showed either when I got these wings together yesterday. The folding mechanism's got the hole either end, and you got the male bits, and it just pushes in, and then there's a piece that goes on top that covers that up, which is one of these will cover that up. And by the looks of it, it should be a good fit because that looks pretty flush. And I'm doing the other, the aileron. It's almost, I can get it lined up. What's going on there? I think I'm going to need to sand the end of these because they're bumping into each other, which is what's stopping that going in. Oh dear, don't want to play. Going on there. Thank you, almost. There we go. So I might have to take a bit off that end too, because that didn't really want to go in there then. And this is the wing that's in flight position. I'm going to have the speed brake open just for, again, to add interest. So yeah, once I clean them up, then I'll put on the wings. I've cleaned up that mould seam line and rescribed in the correct panel line, or squared it up where it was misaligned, and that's how I did it. So I've sanded it back, and to put that line back in, I'm using this as automotive pinstriping, so it's flexible and it curves. I was going to use the Dymo tape, it was too thick, and I won't, because I'm doing such a small area, it won't conform to that curve. And then I'm just using the P-scriber, and the rivets I'm just putting back in with a needle. Alright, so the wings are on. This is the side that I had to pull down a bit, so I've let that sit for a while. Should be right. Still need to put some putty in there. The other side needs a bit too. And the nose is on, so pretty good fit. I'm gonna have to just there, I'll give it a bit of a smidge of putty, even though I don't want it covered up because it is a natural panel line for the nose cone. But yeah, a lot better than what it was when I tried fitting it. It's dry before I sanded it off. So it's starting to take shape, but that's it for me for today.